And good morning and welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. My name's Ralph Williams, and I'm going to bring up my co host, Leo Haggerty. Leo, welcome to the program.
Hey, how are we doing today, Ralph?
Great, great. It's a great day here in Pittsburgh, and I know down in Tampa there, I know you guys are cleaning up from the hurricane, and it's good to know that you have some better signal this morning. So,
Yeah, for sure.
anyway, we're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. Call them today for a website and then what they'll do is they'll build you a website, manage it, and also upload your videos, all for one low monthly price. And call them today for different package deals. They even have a business plan as well for you as well. All right. Also, I want to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh. Call Sleep Pittsburgh today, 412-462-7858. They are in Homestead, right on 8th Avenue, right outside of Pittsburgh in Allegheny County. Go there today. Check out what they have. They have day beds. They have lift chairs. They have mattresses. Anything you need for sleep, they have it. They're the experts in sleep. And also, they have no credit check financing. So give them a call. That number again, 412-462-7858. Also get on our website, sleeppittsburgh.com, and check out their inventory. They'll do all the business that you need to get done with them. It's done online or on the phone. You don't have to go to the place, but if you want to go there, take the kids there, check out some bunk beds or whatever. Sleep Pittsburgh for best sleep tonight. All right, Leo, we're going to get started here. Let's get started. I have something very interesting that I want to share with everybody tonight. I'm going to share with you this again on Monday night as well, on the way I see it. The way I see it is going to be 90 minutes. We'll start at 6:30 p.m. Monday night right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter platforms, which is now called X. And we
Mhm.
have a 90-minute show for you. I have a lot to talk about, but I want to talk a little bit about this right now. And I was at a Republican Party thing last night, Leo, and I found out that the Republican Party is divided badly. They need to get their act together. They need to find somebody else other than Donald Trump. What's your thoughts on the Republican Party?
Well, you know what, Ralph? I look at both parties because if it's not Trump, who is it for the Republicans? I'll take that a step further. If it's not Biden, who is it for the Democrats? I'm
Right.
looking at there's no plan B either way. And again, I'll tell you what, Vivek is somebody who I would really like to listen to, only because the guy's articulate, he's quick on his feet. And dear God, could you imagine him in a debate with Biden? Oh, it would be terrible for the Democrats. So I think what you're seeing now is the Republicans scrambling. The fact that Trump is still being that high in the polls has got to scare me if I'm a Republican
Yes.
politician, because if Trump is an albatross, he's going to sink and he's going to take people down with him. He's the Titanic, and people just can't seem to see it.
Absolutely. Tom says, and I want to thank Tom. He's one of our loyal watchers. I think it's not Trump, it's DeSantis. It could be DeSantis. Again, I'd like to see Mike Pence. A lot of the Republican people I spoke with last night at that party, they told me they're not really interested in Pence because Pence is more of a Republican, one of those Republican split Democrats that they have in their party. And they have a lot of those. And that's why the Republican Party is failing, I think. And, last night they were talking about unity and all that stuff. That they're having a very difficult time with unity. And I think it's because of Trump being the number one thing on there. There's a lot of Republicans in this town, Leo, and even our Republican head leader for Allegheny County has said that he's not supporting Trump. We have a Republican running for county executive, Joe Rocky, says he's not supporting Trump. So this is where we are here, Leo, and I don't think it's just here. I think it's across the country. What do you think?
Well, you know what, Ralph? I'm going to go back to the last governor's race, not when DeSantis won the second time, but the first time.
Right.
Adam Putnam, who was the Secretary of Agriculture, is on the ticket. He's the
Okay.
leading candidate. he's up maybe 7, 8 points on DeSantis. DeSantis comes out and supports Trump overnight. He goes 10 points up. He caught up almost 20 points just by supporting Trump. Trump is like the Pied Piper. People are scared to death to go against him right now. And that's the problem, is he's got the entire country mesmerized by what he's saying and what he's doing. And again, I'm going to go back to Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin, again, he said, one death a tragedy, a million deaths a statistic. And think about Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler or Joseph Goebbels said, hey, the bigger the lie, the easier it is to tell. And the fact that he's selling this to people and they're believing it, that's scary.
Yeah, it is. It's real scary. And here's the interesting part too, Leo. People, they believe anything the media tells them. If the media tells you to go jump off a bridge, they'll go jump off a bridge. I mean, this is where we are today in this society, Leo, and it's really bad. Like if the media says, oh, Trump's the greatest thing since sliced bread, everybody goes and votes for Trump. You see what I mean? And the media is part of that problem as well. What do you think?
It's funny. You sit there and you turn on MSNBC, you watch it for 10 minutes, you go over to Fox, watch it for 10 minutes. They're talking about the same subject, but you never know it. It's like, where are these guys coming from? They're both, so far out to the right and to the left. The moderate people have lost control practically, Ralph, of both parties. There are no moderates left running it. There's no middle of the road people. And that's, for me, that's scary.
Yeah, the independent party needs to step up. They have Bernie Sanders, but I'm tired of Bernie Sanders, and he looks like a circus clown when he's on there talking about stuff, especially in the debates. I didn't like Bernie Sanders in the debates. He has some good things, but, somebody in the independent party needs to step up, like a Jesse Ventura or somebody like that. Maybe even, and I'll tell you this, Mike Bloomberg should step up. I like Mike. I thought he was going to be president. He was a poor guy that became rich. He wasn't like Trump handed everything. You're watching Telling It Like It Is with Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, and we're back to the comment section. Tom says it's nice to have bipartisan support. However, it's also dangerous at the same time to have people like that. And then Tom also says what scares him is indeed having competition. People will support. Not that there's nothing wrong with it. However, more people will use that as an excuse to not vote. Why have an independent party if no one is willing to step it up? What are your thoughts on Tom's comments here, Leo?
Yeah, you know what, Ralph, I think the biggest problem right now is the Republicans will seize power. That's not a problem. But if the Democrats come into power, they want to kind of stay above the fray. You know what?
Right.
You want to fight the pig, you got to get down in the slop. And that's the thing. You got to get down there. You got to get in.
Exactly.
And if the Democrats come to power, then you need to see them do what they did during Roosevelt administration, right before World War II.
Right.
It was ridiculous in terms of, it was almost like 3-1 Democrat in Congress. They basically did what they needed to do. When the Republicans got in, they said, okay, we're going to take the 60%. You're going to have to pass things not just by a simple majority, but by a supermajority, 60%. Well, that's what happens. And, the Democrats cried foul. Well, guess what? Get your people elected. And then the Democrats don't have the cojones. Can I say that on the air, Ralph? I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They don't have the stones. They don't have the stones to come out and say, okay, we're going to do now what we want to do. Bipartisan, we don't need bipartisan. We got enough of our people in, but the problem is, and I'm going to go back to like 2014 when Joe Biden came out and he talked to the teachers. Okay. And Joe hit the nail on the head. He said, you know what? Up until now, when we were done, Republicans, Democrats, you could go out to dinner, you could have a conversation, you could talk. Now, you don't even want to be seen with them. And this is what's crazy, is how much of a divide. It's a schism between the Democrats and the Republicans. That's why I'm almost tempted to say, let's kick everybody out and start again, because they can't govern.
Hey, we're going
They
to have
can't
to do
govern.
that,
That's the
baby
problem.
Leo. You're right, because I'm going to tell you what, they're talking about having us wearing masks again. They're talking about, all this stuff. And I'm hearing chants now about that half our country's going to be communist and half our country's going to have freedom because of the way they're doing this. That divide, okay? And that's where the divide happens. But the Republican Party, and this was said last night at the Republican Party, and I learned a lot at this party about this different stuff here, and that's why I'm bringing it to everyone today and on Monday on the way I see it, is the fact that the Democrats, believe it or not, have all gotten together, these progressives, and we have them here in Allegheny County. It's terrible. I'm trying to get a coalition to run all these progressives out. They're ruining our county, they're ruining our state, and they're going to ruin our government. Okay, our federal government. Okay, these Democrats, these progressives, they get together and they start yelling, they start screaming, they start binding together. Republicans Party right now cannot do that. They don't have that kind of power, and they're not doing it right now. All right, Tom says it's nice to have a functional government that works together. It's terrible to not work together and not be seen and not want to be seen. Absolutely, and that's what's going on. These politicians, they get in office, they don't even want to see you. They don't want to talk to you. What do you think of this, Leo?
Yeah, it's almost like, once I get in power, I do as I want to do, not take care of the people that got you there. And that's what's
Right.
crazy. And I'll tell you what, you got to give the Republicans credit, because where they're attacking local governments, school boards,
Yes.
local commissions.
Yes.
They're getting control of those, because people don't realize a whole lot of government happens locally, not on the
Right.
state and national level. And the Republicans are going after school boards. They're going after county commissions. They're going after local government, trying to get a power base there. And, got to give them credit. They're getting it done.
Oh, absolutely. They are. You're right. And you're watching, telling it like it is. Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty. We're here every Saturday, 10:30 in the morning, right here on live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. We're also sponsored by RW Media and Amped Up Sports, which is Leo's thing. Leo, I want to ask you, how's everything with the Amped Up Sports?
We're doing well. One of our photographers, Alex Walworth, just got credentialed for the Lightning rookie camp. They're having a rookie camp with I think it's Florida, Nashville themselves, and Carolina. I think are all having a rookie camp just south of us, and the Panthers were handling it, and the person who was there, Veronica, said, "Hey, can we see some of your work? We just don't want to credential anybody." So we sent it in. She said, "Oh, great. Hey, you guys are good." So I'm happy about that. We've got to look for a lot of game posting from South Florida and Florida A&M tonight, plus LSU and Grambling. Kelly Champion and Bill Smith, they're both credentialed down there. We've been following LSU for 4 years because we took a look, Ralph, and said, we're in Florida. How do we want to expand? Well, guess what? LSU plays Florida every year. So that was the logical explanation to expansion. So, start to check out our website. And again, I don't want to play the sympathy card, but, I had cancer last year, and we kind of had to shut things down for a while. But look for that website to come back. Look for our Twitter account to come back. Look for TikTok to come back. We're coming back, Ralph. We're coming back strong at Amped Up Sports.
Well, that's great. Now I'm happy to be part of it. I mean, and you sponsor my shows, and it's great to be part of your company as well. And you post my stuff up on your Facebook page and things like that.
And if folks get a chance, until folks get a chance, go to Amped Up Sports. We just did our NFL preview Thursday night, where we've got 16 guys throughout the country covering 2 NFL teams each. We had 14 of those 16 guys on talking about, where they think things are going. And I'll tell you what, Ralph, like I say, every time sometimes, a blind squirrel finds an acorn. I told people, be careful of the Lions. They may be for real. And I
Oh
think
my
they are.
gosh, I said the same thing, Leo. I love Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's a good coach, and I think after the momentum from last year, they're picking it up and doing it this year. Look at this game against Kansas City, Leo.
Yeah. Yeah. And they scored on offense and defense. Again, this is not your dad's Lions. This is a whole different animal. Dan Campbell has been building this the way the Tennessee Titans with Mike Vrabel have been building it. If you're not a tough guy, don't show up. It's just not going to happen. So they're doing it with toughness. And again, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with, not only in the NFC North, but maybe in the playoffs, because Jared Goff looks like he's finally starting to figure it out.
Oh yes, absolutely. On my show previous here on the External Bum with myself, Mark Mancini, Scott Morganroth, Joe Kuglis. Joe wasn't with us today. We talked about Jared Goff, and I even said it. Ben Johnson's our offensive coordinator up there. He's a young guy, and he's got Jared Goff. Sometimes, and I said this, Leo, many times, I think you'll agree with me, going to another team sometimes is a good thing for you, a change of atmosphere and a change in coaching that could benefit you. And I've seen many quarterbacks, many running backs, receivers, any kind of position player go to another team and do better than what they did when they were with the opponent. I've seen former Steelers do that. And I think you'll agree with me on that one.
You know what? Let's take it a step further. Look what Jacksonville did. Okay. Once they got rid of Urban Meyer and got in a proven coach with Peterson, look what's happened with Trevor Lawrence. Look what's happened with this team. And I'll tell you what, I got them going to Super Bowl. I really do. I think they're really going to, especially after the way they beat the Chargers last year.
Right.
And they were one play away from taking Kansas City to overtime in the rain. So, yeah, I like what Jacksonville's doing. But, Ralph, you're exactly right. Sometimes you change the scenery, and you know who that's going to really affect? Derek Carr. He's going to do very well, I think, down in New Orleans because of that.
We have Allen Robinson here from the Rams, and he likes it here. It's a change of atmosphere for him. And I keep saying he might do better. We have Patrick Peterson. We have Keanu Neal from Tampa. You know him. So, I mean, we have him at safety and corner. So, I mean, I think it's, change of atmosphere could do some better good. And as soon as I get done taking care of some sponsors here, we'll talk more about some of the coaches on the bubble in the NFL and some college stuff. All right, Bon Journey, September 30th, Shergill's, Warrendale. Go check out Bon Journey. They are a cover band that plays Bon Jovi and Journey songs. September 30th at Jurgles Rhythm and Brew in Warrendale. If you're interested in being a sponsor for this show or any of my other RW Media shows, give Fred Schaefer a call, 412-354-0436. My rates are very affordable, and Fred will take very good care of you. 412-354-0436. Give Fred a call today if you're interested in being a sponsor or an advertiser on this show. All right. Now, Tom says Steelers are going to have a better year than most given them credit for. Absolutely, Tom. All right, Leo, let's talk about some of these NFL coaches that could be on a bubble this year. I think first we'll start with the Falcons, Arthur Smith and Don in Tampa there. Oh, gosh, his name's on my head, and I can't remember your head coach's name for the life of me.
Yeah, Todd Bowles right. On the hot seat from day one down here.
Yeah, and Arthur Smith, I think, is on the hot seat. I think if Saleh up in the Jets, I'm hearing stories of Robert Saleh, if he don't do it with the talent he has in Aaron Rodgers this year, he could get fired. I mean, I'm hearing stories about that. And Brandon Staley down in L.A. Chargers. Some of the stupid decisions he made last year that made the Chargers flop. I heard he's on the bubble. And Matt Eberflus up there in Chicago, he hasn't done anything. So he could be on the bubble. What's your thoughts on this, Leo?
You know what, Ralph? We always see one coach by Thanksgiving is going to be gone. And then Black Monday after the Super Bowl, at least 5 are gone. It's just
right.
It's as Earth, Wind, and Fire said. It's the way of the world. It's the way of the NFL.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What do you? You know what the NFL stands for, Ralph? Not for long. And if you lose, you're not a coach, not for long. So that's for sure. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if you had a chance to catch my latest podcast the other day, but I got the Steelers winning the North. I think they're going to be that good, and I think everybody's going to beat each other up. I mean, the AFC North is the new black and blue division.
Right. Oh yeah, Steelers are going to do better this year. They have a lot of good free agents that Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, our general manager and assistant general manager, signed. Our draft pick, we had a really good draft, I think. And I think this year, the thing is though, I'm concerned about the coaching. I mean, and the coordinators. Can Matt Canada be a better coordinator this year? Can Terrell Austin be a better defensive coordinator without without Flores around, Brian Flores, who went to Minnesota to be a defensive coordinator, which I think the Steelers should have kept him as a coordinator and then have Terrell Austin work under him. But that didn't happen that way. And Flores wasn't used properly last year. They had him up in the press box instead of on the field. So, I mean, but I think the Steelers are going to do better this year. It's all about Kenny Pickett controlling the lines of scrimmage. That's been a problem. We fixed that problem this year in the offseason. So I think you're right. I think the Steelers could take the North. Bengals, they still don't have a good offensive line for Burrows. And I think that everyone keeps saying they're going to do better because they were in the playoffs. Cleveland stinks. Kevin Stefanski could get fired. And also you have Baltimore, which if Lamar Jackson continues to try to throw the ball, which he can't do, and has to use his feet all the time, they're going to have big problems down there in Baltimore land there. What do you think about that, Leo?
Well, we got an interesting game right out of the gate up there in Pittsburgh playing the 49ers. And I have the 49ers not even making the playoffs because I don't think they've got a quarterback yet. I just don't think that everything's, clicking right in San Francisco.
Right.
And the one team you never want to open up with is Pittsburgh on their defense because that 3-4, the way they play it, they will do unconventional things and they will get results. And you just can't prepare for it. So Ralph, you hit the nail on the head. If Pickett continues to get better, then the Steelers are fine. But I tell you what, I got to disagree with you on the Browns. I think they may be the second best team in the division just because that defense is a bear.
Well, yeah, it is with Myles Garrett and all that. They have a very good defense. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. It says Mike Price says hello, Michael. Tom says I'm not a Pitt fan by any stretch. However, I believe that Pickett will have a great second season since he's been immersed in this system. Absolutely, Tom. I believe that as well. All right, get a hold of Draft 412 today. Draft 412 is one of our sponsors here. Check out their website at draft412.com. They have a $9 a month subscription to an e-magazine that breaks down all the players. So get a hold of Draft 412, and they will handle. You could get the skinny on every player in different drafts, different the NBA, hockey, baseball, and football. Draft 412. Get on their website today. Subscribe. $9 a month is all it takes, and you can get all that information. Draft412.com. All right, Leo. Let's get back to a couple. I've been a Steeler fan forever. Michael says great. Thank you, Michael, for that. Let's talk a little bit about Tampa Bay. What's going on down there? I understand. What's going on down there with the quarterback situation?
Well, Baker Mayfield won the job, and
okay.
I don't think there was a whole lot of competition. Again, Ralph, that's coach speak. Because if I'm a coach, I don't want competition at quarterback. I want a guy I can walk in day one and say he's the guy. I mean,
right.
Look, I don't care what happened with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers could have been terrible in preseason. Guess who was lined up under center the first game? Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Same thing down here. Brady, the last 2 years, could have been the worst preseason. He was lining up under center. So again, Baker Mayfield, they've got weapons with Evans and Godwin. I just think they got to run the football to keep that defense off the field and keep the opposing defense honest. I looked at Sports Illustrated, and two of their writers, they have the Bucks 3-14 and 2-15. I'm going, wow, that's crazy. But usually you win two games by mistake, and you get two games given to you by the other team by their mistake. So, if you've got less than 4 wins, you're a really bad football team. So that I don't see that down here. But I'll tell you what, their first 6 games are a meat grinder. And if Todd Bowles goes 1-5 or worse, he won't see Thanksgiving.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, let me ask you this. I'm a Pitt fan. How's Kalijah Cansey and Savasier Dennis doing?
Cansey is just coming back to practice. They haven't ruled him out for Sunday yet. I don't think he'll play because he's only had 1 practice. So I don't think that. But other than that, it's Pitt guys are looking good. They just got to stay healthy. You know how that is.
Yeah, Savasier Dennis is a really good linebacker, and Kalijah Cansey. I watched both of them at Pitt, and I tell you what, man, you guys got some great athletes in them 2 guys down there. So in Tampa. All right, let's talk a little bit about college football. Deion Sanders had his 1 game last week against TCU. Okay. Do you think he'll be successful? Now, I talked, Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune, who's on my external bum show, Mark Mancini. Everybody thinks Deion's going to run through Nebraska. Nebraska's got a really good coach in Matt Rule, and I think Nebraska could do better. It's going to be a dogfight. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. What do you think about this game?
Oh, I think maybe Nebraska wins because now they got film on Colorado. I felt so sorry for Sonny Dykes. He hit the nail on the head. He goes, we got nothing to watch. I mean, that's got a whole new team out there in Colorado. So they were going in blind. Well, guess what? Now you got film, fellas, and they're going to figure out. And I don't know how many players can go 140 snaps back to back. I think they got to have to give Hunter some rest here somewhere because that'll change. And you know what? Nebraska will run it down their throat. They will just wear out that defensive line, wear out those linebackers. I want to see what Colorado's got left 3rd and 4th quarter. And again, are they going to be 1-11? No. Are they going to be 11-1? No. I got them somewhere. I said 4 to 6 wins. They're just
they could squeeze into a bowl game with 6 wins.
Yeah, you talk about a meat grinder. They got to go to Oregon and Southern Cal back to back. I mean, come on, they just don't have the numbers right now because the bumps and bruises of college football. They're going to lose bodies right and left, and that'll be a problem.
Well, TCU blew this game because of bad play calling. They were running the football in the 3rd quarter and grinding it down Colorado's throat, and in the 4th quarter they decided to get pass happy. And their offensive coordinator down there decided to just continue to do it that way. And I thought that's where they lost the game right there, is they had the line of scrimmage control with the running game. Stick with what works. If you're running a football down their throat, tire out their defense and continue to do it. And then they started getting pass happy, and that's when everything went down the toilet for them.
Absolutely. And, we saw the same thing with South Florida and Western Kentucky. South Florida ran the ball 61 times. 61 times for 404 yards. So, they were getting 6 yards a pop. Whoa. And I'll tell you what, I give Coach Golish a lot of credit. He went with what was working. You know what? I always tell my people who are listening to me, my loyal listeners and followers, do the math. 6 and 6 is 12. Guess what that is? First down. That's what you want. Yes. You want first downs because it keeps your defense off the field. So, Nebraska's going to run it down Colorado's throat. We're just going to see how that plays out.
Yeah, some big games today. Who's South Florida playing today, Leo?
They got Florida A&M tonight, but you know what, Ralph? The biggest game, I think Texas beats Alabama outright because I don't know if Alabama's quarterback, he's definitely not the guy they had last year. So, he's got 1 game under his belt. And if you remember last year, Ewers from Texas was playing
Right.
extremely well and gets hurt. And he's got to come out. And there were 3 just terrible officiated calls in that game that
Right.
cost Texas the game. I mean, they were looking for reasons for Alabama to win. So that was kind of crazy. So I'll tell you what, yeah, I know it's in Tuscaloosa, but don't go to sleep on the Longhorns.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. Let me talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio. Hillcrest Farm has some grain hay beef and some great package deals. They have a ground beef box, $95, 20 pounds of ground beef, 45 minutes from Pittsburgh, right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. Call today, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. They have an email address, hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com for more information. Check out their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. They also ship, and Facebook at Hillcrest Farm. All right, Leo, any final thoughts before we go today?
Well, you know what, guys? Enjoy college football today. Enjoy the NFL. And remember, pump the brakes. The first 3 or 4 weeks of the NFL, these guys still aren't into tackling mode. So you're going to see some upsets. You're going to see some crazy things. The key is not to go 0-4. Try not to go 1-3. If you go 2-2, you got a shot, because guess what? The NFL season, like college football, it's a sprint within a marathon. Don't get them confused.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what else, too, Leo? Who do you think today? I mean, I know some some of the big teams are playing some, lower type teams. I think somebody's playing Grambling today. Who's playing Grambling?
LSU.
All right. Hey, Grambling could beat LSU maybe. Because sometimes Brian Kelly lays an egg. I mean, he thinks he could call every decent play there is, and I've seen LSU get into some dogfights with some of these sad teams. That might be the game that Grambling wins. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, hard winning in Death Valley, because you got 100,000 people in there and you got 40,000 people outside. It's just crazy,
It's a
crazy
big
place
time
to try
college
to win.
atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh my Lord, it's go Tigers, right? That's the way it is down
Right.
there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see what Miami and Texas A&M does, because I think Miami
That's
may
going
be
to
a
be a
little
really
better.
good game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm waiting to see what Mario Cristobal's made of this year, because last year he didn't have a really good year. Let's see what he does this year.
Yeah, he may have to have a good year too, right?
Miami has, they don't have too much what they call life with their coaches. After a couple of years or 3 years, they start firing guys or having them step down. So
Kind of
the
crazy.
biggest thing was when Mark Richt stepped down. I wish he wouldn't have stepped down there.
Well, he stepped down basically because they told him, fire your son or fire this guy, fire this guy. He said, no, I'm not firing anybody. We didn't do anything wrong. Well, we're going to have to fire you then. No, I resign. Fine.
And let me ask you this, Leo: do you think they'll ever get their own college stadium instead of playing at Hard Rock Stadium? I mean, like Pitt now. Pitt plays at Acrisure Stadium, and then they don't draw very well, and people get frustrated. Oh, when are we going to have a campus stadium? Well, let me tell you something, folks. Campus stadium, I would rather sit in nice, comfortable seats down at Acrisure Stadium. You could get over there with the subway for free. The students get bused over there. So it's not a problem. It's only a few miles away from campus. And so what if you're playing Acrisure Stadium? I'd rather sit in a nice, comfortable seat than sit on a hard bleachers or in some grass or whatever. And the parking in Oakland, where we're at with Pitt, is bad. It's terrible. It's the worst place in the world. And you got all these people in this, when's Pitt going to get their own stadium? Maybe we'll come to the game. They say it's not a college atmosphere. Well, Cincinnati plays in the city of Cincinnati, and Miami plays at Hard Rock Stadium. And how do they draw down there, Leo? They do okay?
Yeah, they weren't drawn real well down at the Orange Bowl, because it was right in the middle of Liberty City, and it's kind of a tough place to go. But yeah, they're starting to draw. But Ralph, it's just like anything. If you win, they will come. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Well, when you have 2 professional teams, there are 3 professional teams here. That's the case. So Leo, thank you for being on this morning. We'll see you next week, and we'll back for another edition of Telling It Like It Is. For Leo Haggerty, I'm Ralph Williams, and I want to thank everyone for their comments today. It was Tom, Michael, and those who commented as well and watching the show. I hope the show gets more watchers. So so we'll be back next Saturday, 10:30 a.m. For Leo Haggerty. I'm Ralph Williams. Have a great one. Thank you for being part of the show.
Take care, guys.